Hello everyone, and welcome to the first of its kind DELTARUNE Chapter 5 newsletter review. Or, well, just chatting about it. I'll talk about my own theories and stuff as well in this video, but yeah, it's summer. Can summer be over yet? And then we have this image. Very, very cute image. I like that. I like that a lot. The very wholesome image, but with the implications. It's, sorry if my voice isn't up to scuff. It's something happened recently, so I'm kinda, yeah. But anyways, that doesn't matter. It's newsletter. DELTARUNE Chapter 5. DELTARUNE. Around a month ago, DELTARUNE Chapter 5 released. Did you know this? It's already been a month. God damn. I'm pleased with the response to Chapter 5. Many friends told me that they loved it, and some people even cried a bit. Everyone's experience may vary, but if the game resonated deeply with a few players, I feel confident I'm moving in the right direction. And now we get to look at the concept art. Chapter 5 Thoughts. So this is the first draft of the areas, which is really cool. I like that. Let's talk about Chapter 5. Before its release, I described Chapter 5 as a fun chapter. Hopefully everyone understands what I meant by that, which is that it is fun. Anyway, there aren't any more chapters where we focus on goofy, attention-hungry darkener characters with the potential to win weird popularity contests, but thinking about it, the structure of the story, I think it was perfect spot to do it one more time. Even though it's the only been 4 chapters since Chapter 1, I want Chapter 5 to feel like a mix of nostalgic fun mixed with unforeseen concepts. Music from DELTARUNE Chapter 1, of DELTARUNE characters that reference concepts from Undertale, etc. As for the new elements, this time we added platforming system, where you can jump around, attack, and act. The level started in October 2021, with an on and off programming by Onidev, creator of the game such as Trespassers. Eventually, towards the end of the chapters, 4 other members of the team were then able to take all these prototype and develop it further. Whoa. Look at those little guys. Look at those little guys. Well, that's so cool. No. As usual, we create tons and tons of prototypes. There was a few design challenges with using a platformer system. I feel quite happy about it. It's implemented in the final game, but here are some things we had to be concerned about. It seems so fun. This actually seems really fun to play. I would play that. Like, genuinely. Hit Pippis. First saw Pippis because of the blue things. I don't know why. Oh. Let him go, look at them go. God, I would have loved to play this. It seems hella fun. Bully Hallie, but like besides that, fun. This is an RPG game with focus on character interaction. If the game turns completely into an action platformer, it carries the risk of making the player feel like, why am I playing a knockoff of Hollow Knight, instead of feeling like they are playing DELTARUNE. In order to inject some unique character-based elements to the gameplay, the platformer act system we developed in October 2024, a large amount of acts were considered for each character, but ultimately we found it indecisive to just have hanging with Ralsei and Rude Buster with Duty. Another important Deltarune is that with adding a lot of stupid optional dialogue, we're doing different things in the platform mode, as well as having a couple RPG encounters accessible during that mode. This kept the mood from drifting too far from the main game. Another thing we had to keep in mind that this could be somebody's first experience with playing a platformer. A terrifying thought, but technically possible. Nothing in the game had demanded any platforming skills before this, so we kept actual jumping challenges rather simple. On the other hand, it was way too fun to make difficult challenges, so we tried to include a couple of those in optional areas. I hope you enjoy them. We prototyped various puzzle concepts when you had to swap between both gameplay styles, but most of them ended up a little clunky and hard to understand. Yeah, I would have loved to play through that. Besides the platformers, other general challenges was writing the chapter that introduced 8 different characters to the main story without destroying the pacing. However, putting aside how good an idea that is in the first place, I feel like I managed to pull this off fairly well, showing off all the individual qualities of the different flowers without dragging the story down. Among my friends, everybody had a different favorite flower, and every flower was someone's favorite, so that's all I can hope for. There's the concept, which is really pretty, by the way. I love that. I love how pretty that is. Yeah, it's Gigi. It's Gigi art. It's Gigi. Gigi always has great art. I've noticed. Like I've loved seeing Gigi's art. That's my Flowerona. Constantine carries jacket over his shoulder he never wears. 10 years ago, everyone was misspelling flowy as flowery, and it was driving me crazy, so I thought, wouldn't it be funny if there was another golden flower character actually named Flowery, and everyone misspelled his name as Flowey too? The golden flower, Gold, was able to become his own Mary Sue character in the form of Flowery. He's trying to be perfect, but he doesn't know anything about what it's like to really live. His interpretation of ideal man is totally alien and over the top. He looks like a generic anime guy and is far taller than a normal human. It's probable he chose his own theme song and plays it himself somehow, which is, by the way, is basically a creepy misremembered version of only 8 seconds full of horse, full of the full something. I don't know, say horse, full horse theme song. And you must think it's awesome. You think of the other flower characters in similar fashions. Their designs may be strange, but that's because they had to decide who they wanted to be for themselves. I wonder what inspired each of their dreams. It's not only really important to be honest, but it's fun to think about. Hopefully none of this came across as new information. It's simply just point out what was in the game. By the way, here's the concept art from Toyoka Vadodo of the studio Kira for the animation. Her early concept art for the animation determined Flowery's final outfit. Whoa, that's cool. That's badass. It's different appearance in different solution and situations. I like when characters have inconsistent designs like this, especially for characters like him. Maybe the inconsistency is his fault. Other flowers. Here's some concept art of other flowers. There's Aqua. Look, I see the little heart thing in the eyes. Yeah, you could definitely tell that's a heart, flowers on the back of the body on dress. How many eyes do humans have again? Aqua, I didn't have any trouble drawing her. She's obviously inspired by Toho, by the way. The other day, I talked to someone and they didn't know what Toho was, so I was like, Bad Apple? And they were like, huh? I thought that was a Hatsune Miku thing. That's not even sung by Hatsune Miku. Oh, there's Seth. I remember seeing this at the start. Seth, the character Seth is inspired by the character Dave Seth and Illusion of Gaia. They are both purple and wear glasses, but they don't have any other similarities beyond that. Originally, Seth's first concept had white hair and skin that was a bit more lavender in tone, but when I showed it to my friends, they see uh, that's just, Steven Universe, so I cheated. We are the crystal gems. We always save the day. And if you think we can't, well, always find a way. That's why the people of this world believe in garnet, amethyst, pearl, and Steven. Green's appearance is inspired by the art style of my friend's Splendid Land, who's designed Hacker, Ambulance, and a couple of other great guys. She didn't even know about this character until the game came out. Orange! Yeah, orange. Orange. It was hard to express the joy of her expression in such a small sprite. Look at her anyways. It was important to have one of the characters be a mouse to make it absurdly obvious how dis how distorted their idea of humanity is. Friend inside of me. Right here, I'll take a closer look at all of them. And then we go back to yellow. Yellow, he had two designs in the early one from October 2016. October 2016, oh my god. He was way more. Had more of a beard that was cool collected guide, and I redrew him later in January 2020. He takes some inspiration from Woody from Toy Story. He was foreshadowed a bit in Chapter 3 with the same bat curtains. I think that's kind of a full extent of the intentional cowboy foreshadowing I've done in my life. Blue in game. He has different hairstyle during his face sprite. I thought it would be fun to provide multiple possibilities with what he looks like. Blue. Other enemies design. I had two guest artists on this chapter design the enemies. Now actually designed for the enemies for this chapter Shinobudo, Terracoco, and the Pod Archer, and the Mantis Dancer. Ultimately, only two of them were used in the chapter 5 anyways. So cool. What? These designs are awesome. Hitoshi Akarija. Sorry if I pronounced that. Hitoshi Ariga is a Japanese artist who's most well known for drawing the manga Rockman Megamix and designing a number of Pokemon, including the recently beloved Sneasler, Fluttermane, Orgapon. However, did you know that he also drew the character sprites of many classic games, including Illusion of Gaia? Anyways, he drew a bit of the Fox character that then I made a modification to it for the game. Oh, hey, there's Netsky. By the way, he and his family are immensely awesome and kind people. They are cool. Like, look at his designs. These designs are cool. Guest musicians. Many people helped out the music this time around. Guardians helps a dream. Carlos Lean. Hard to believe it's this guy was a kid when he made his first Undertale jazz album. I'm super glad to be able to feature him in the game. Rookie Buster. Oh, it's named after the bird. Ornuki. I originally featured his music in an earlier trailer for Deltarune, but as long as we were featuring a fancy version of Field of Hopes and Dreams, I wanted to make the battle seem fancy too. And Camellia, I guess this. So little story about this. Before the chapter came out, because of the collab a while ago with Toby and Camellia, which I will show on screen, I kind of guessed that Camellia will be a part of Chapter 5, and I was completely correct. Camellia was indeed a part of Chapter 5 on the soundtrack team. For this song, I assigned a demo of the first dozen seconds and spent alongside a few minutes of me playing the piano and singing. I also provided a text description of each part of Camellia did all the actual work beyond that. Lol. Anyways, the Crypto demo I gave him was really just the first 6 seconds of this plus the melody, but I added some more just now. Make it worth listening to. Thanks.
What's pretty soon?
Oh. I have to cut that out of the video. Anyways. There we go. Okay, let me continue reading. Flower Man came in. I tried to create the song by myself multiple times. Even tried multiple times to collaborate with different musicians to try and do the live version with vocals, but nothing turned out right with the samples I was using. So I ended up begging Camellia to arrange it. Here's the early piano outline. And Tony. And finding the flower man. So he stand with the touch of his hand. They did the made a chamber made of glass. Now the every daily 10 feet torn in the flower man. Now he stand with the touch of his hand. They did the chamber made in the glass. He said the flower man with his heart in the sand. Now he stands to what the whole world from a can. No man, flower man. Flower. Alright. Also, the creator of Feuds, Mr. Sinclair, drew pink stocking sprites and basic override sprites for Chapter 5. She's a great fan and encouraged me to really complete Undertale, so I'm super happy I got to work with her. Those are so cute! Oh my god! Oh my god, they are so cute! Oh, I love pink. Pink is... Okay, I wanna yep a bit. I wanna yep a bit. So, pink has inspired me a little bit. Sorry. To change Ghost Goober's design a bit. Not by much, but like a little bit. Because I think it'd be a really neat concept if I inspired them by a character that I really like. They were originally already inspired by Mew Mew. So I think it'd be cool if I did that. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. But yeah, if you see any similarities between Mew Mew and Pink in Ghost Super's design a little bit, that's probably why. Okay, thanks. Alright, that's all. What's next? Chapter 5 with the really fun chapter with the last big burst of craziness out of the way. I'm sure everybody eager for DELTARUNE to start directly tackling the main mysteries of the game. Me too. With Chapter 5 was completed, the last of the necessary setup for Chapters 6, 7, Okay, I'm sorry. 6 and 7. From chapter 6 onwards, there are no more wacky, silly adventures, and you will begin to see the results of setup that has been made so far. Chapter 6 is shorter and straightforward. That focuses on one aspect of the story. Because of that, many things are not touched on here. In fact, it will be may surprise you what's missing, but none will be clarified whether you're ready or not. So, like Mother 3. That is basically Mother 3. If y'all not played Mother 3, please do. Please. There are so many fan translations. You can find ways to get the game. I would highly recommend you could watch a video of it explaining it. Just please, please play the Mother franchise. The Mother franchise is really good. I love the storytelling. I love everything about the Mother franchise. That goes with Earthbound, Mother 1, Mother 3. Like, I know me myself, I got into the series very late, but there, but I could see why those series are so near and dear to everyone's hearts, and I could see why Mother fans want their own official like translations of the game, because Mother 3 has not a release officially outside of Japan, which is very tragic. The only way to get Mother 3 is in Japan, but like I would highly recommend playing Mother 1 in Earthbound. If you don't know much about Mother 1, like you follow Ninten. Ninten is trying to save the world from Gygas, basically. Pretty sure it was Gygas. But yeah, it's a whole setup for for Earthbound as well, which I won't get into. If I'm wrong about anything, please tell me. But like, I think that's how the setup originally went. But yeah. Some of you, wait, you need to make the other chapters longer. Not sure, but that takes really reasonable concern. But by the end of chapter 7, I'm 100% you understand why I feel confident about the way I'm telling this story. Don't worry about the pacing until it's over. Believe we'll be able to release chapter 6 in 20. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's a year away. Chapter 6 will be released by itself in case there's any question about that. Recently I finished writing a few more sequences towards the last third of the chapter, recurring rooms to fit new structures. Once we wake up and adjustment to tie everything together, we will be able to play a rough draft of the chapter from beginning to end, bearing any major reconstruction. The main thing that will continue need to develop time with the bosses, chapter, and polishing cutscenes. Speculation theories. Personally, I don't read or watch series. That's because I already know what my game is. However, I think it's amazing that people think about the game so much. It's not an extraction to say that thinking about this game could be just as much an experience as playing it. Anyone who keeps thinking about it like I have gets my highest blessing. So imagine that what could happen in trying to think about the meaning of the game is very cool. However, I do think it's important to mention sometimes you don't have to have all the information or have a different expectation about the certain info would be interpreted or combined. Anyways, well, I think it's good to keep an open mind to what will ultimately happen. I want to say that you guys should keep having as much fun as you can. Speculation, art, stories, theories that you've come up with while the game is still ongoing forever be a special thing, because this is the only time such things can ever be created. All of you are creating a time capsule unique to the single fleeting moment in time, and I think that's something to be incredibly proud about. Isn't it great that you're here right now planning this thing as it comes out? God, thank you so much, Toby. Toby, you've done so much. You're like one of my favorite creators. I've loved enjoying theory videos that people have made. I've enjoyed playing the game because, God, your game is so fun. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, because by the end of this, I'm going to be talking about my own theories and what might be happening before chapter 6, which, since I have a pretty straightforward idea, I could hint some stuff, but besides that, I want to get through the newsletter. and then I'll talk about my theories. So yeah. But thank you, Toby. Toby, you are such an amazing, amazing creator. And I know it's like, oh, yeah, it was crazy and Toby, but like, he truly cares about his game, and that's really inspiring. Like, how I care about stuff. Like, Toby has inspired me to continue doing stuff that I enjoy, and I'm going to keep doing that stuff that I enjoy because of him. So, thank you. The bottom of my heart, thank you, Toby Fox. JARONA! What's JARONA? When I was younger, my older sibling would say stupid anime-style made-up movie names and then pretend it's to attack me. One was, "It's my JARONA." And a couple other phrases are also referenced like that, including the unused vocal clip, "Blingo Blizzard."
A Blingo Blizzard!
My sibling encouraged me to add, "It's my hummingbird," as well as another quote to the game, but I haven't done that. Will I ever? What's Kiki? Kiki is my cat that won't shut up. She gets eerily noisy every second you don't play with her. She watched her room on TV and didn't understand it. It was her. It was her. She likes it. If a cat's brain was put into a cat's body, the song in the room, it's a song that I sing to her every day because I love her. It's not fan service for you, but it's Kiki service for her, even though she doesn't like it. She's bothering me right now. Cute cat. Cute cat. And doing words and stuff. I desire enjoy corn. Happy summer, enjoy the corn. Thank you, Toby.
God. So, chapter 6 being a linear chapter, that is very interesting to me.
That is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. But yeah, that is... Ooh. Oh, I have a lot to think about. Because if that's the linear chapter, then what the then what? Okay. You know what? Before I start talking about chapter 6 and 7, let's talk about this. This is the weird route screen. I think everyone already knows this. But if we scroll all the way down, 7B. 7B. Insert chapter 7 side B. And if I remember right, if you click on it, it shows the progress bar. Wait, here, let me zoom in on it a little bit. Same time as 7. So, that's terrifying. I already made a post about it, but that is terrifying. And the reason why it's terrifying is because that means it's its own separate story, which we already kind of figured. But that is more terrifying because what the hell? What? There's nothing I could try to speculate it, like we could go in the bunker, there could be something in the ocean. But like with specifically 7 inside B.
JARONA!
Oh, hi, Gamma. Oh. Jump scare. But yeah, like I was saying, specifically with side B, God, okay. With specifically side B, I don't know what this theory is about. That is such an interesting chapter. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I know it's something with water, or it could be at the side of the lake. It's either in the water or in the lake. We don't know. It's something out of bounds, which is what we got. which might not originally be out of bounds because the characters originally had a life outside of this. So it's really, really just up to interpretation. My interpretation is it's something to either do with Weird Dear Gaster, or it's something completely different with a completely different boss, with a completely different enemy type, completely different everything. Because this is a completely different scenario than from the normal route. It might not even be Gaster. If it would, that'd be shocking. That would be completely and utterly shocking. But if it isn't, then I don't know anymore. See, this game has put me so much on loop because I've been thinking, could it be Gaster? Could it be Roaring Knight? Well, we already know what the Roaring Knight is. Could be Death Holiday. Or Rudy. Or Carol. Or Papyrus. We don't know. There's still a mystery. The likelihood that it could be Des is very high, but the likelihood it could be anyone else is also very high. So, yeah. But yeah, Chapter 6. Chapter 6 being a linear chapter, because we're going to end up having a WoW in Chapter 6, that could easily change up the story as a whole, but because it's a linear, straightforward path, I do think no matter what you try to do in Chapter 6, it will lead to the same result for Chapter 7. Now, I do like the Twisted Sword theory, but I do think people are thinking way too deep into it that we're going to end up doing the sword route. I think with the Twisted Sword, we're actually giving Chris more control. I know people are thinking it's a reverse psychology thing sometimes, but okay, well, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I do think it's just I don't think it's a reverse psychology thing. I generally do think it's just sword. Sword that lets Chris have more control. The freedom, the pure crystal. They're going to have more agency than we do on them. Though I could be wrong. Like I said, I don't know the game. I do know the game very well. I know how the story works, but I am still just a casual player. This is the first time I actually went deep into theories. I don't know what's cooking up. But for Chapter 6, I do think it's going to be a straightforward path, beginning to end. If there is a weird route, that'd be weird. Because I know there's something with the Twisted Sword. But, there could be other chances we get the Thorn Ring. I know in the cyber world. But remember, where we get that in the cyber world? We get that from a dumpster. But it's also still a thorn. So it's you can get a thorn anywhere. So really, if we think about it, maybe we could just get it in chapters by doing the weird route a bit and then aborting it. But I genuinely like to think it's just you can get it at any time, even on the main route. And the reason why I think that it's because Noel's back in the party. And I think the Thorn Ring was originally meant to be an item you can get at Chapter 6. Not from Spantum, but from someone else. That's just my speculation. I could be completely wrong. But that's my speculation. I think Chapter 6 is where we were originally meant to get the Thorn Ring. The reason why we got the Sword Ring and the weird route early is because it's weird and we were not following the linear story pattern. So I think Chapter 2, we did a weird route. So things are weird, it's out of order, it's out of place. I think we were originally supposed to get the Thorn Ring in Chapter 6 with the Pure Crystal. Because I don't think the Twisted Sword would be unattainable for normal players. For casual playing players. That would be weird to lock us out of something. So I think we do get the Thorn Ring in chapter 6. like how in Earthbound, Ness learns that super powerful spell super late in the game, or well, PSI, not spell, PSI ability. So I think Noelle will do the same. I think everyone will get a buff in chapters 6 to prepare for us for the end game. So I think Snowgrave will end up being used, but instead of it becoming a spell that Noelle doesn't know in the weird route, it's a spell that Noelle does know and knows how to control it correctly. That's why I think she's going to end up having the Thorn Ring in Chapter 6. And not from the weird route. I think you will get the Thorn Ring in Chapter 6 by obtaining it normally. And then you'll be able to make the Twisted Sword if you want, or you can keep the Thorn Ring on Noelle, but I think it's better if you make the Twisted Sword for Chris specifically, because they probably need it more than Noelle. So I think you will make the Twisted Sword, and that will help you with the final boss and other story elements. But I definitely do think you will get the Thorn Ring in Chapter 6 as its own standalone item. And now you may, because we completely skip over 6 in the weird route, and we could always abort the route and get the Thorn Ring just in our inventory, but I think we will collectively always get the Thorn Ring even in a normal route without any of the weird wacky stuff. Now this could just be me. This could just be me spitballing, which I've done a lot. But generally that's what I think. I think Chapter 6 we will get the Thorn Ring normally. And because of that, we will be able to make the Twisted Sword. So yeah, I think, and this is just me, I think we will get the Thorn Ring in Chapter 6. Now, this could just be me, which I don't know if anyone else has thought about this, but definitely with me, I do think we will get the Thorn Ring in Chapter 6, which I've repeated multiple times. But it makes sense. To me, to me it makes sense. Any other theories in the comments? Share your theories. I will genuinely be curious what you think. But I think, because it's a weird route, we were not originally meant to get the Thorn Ring that way. We were meant to get the Sword Ring through playing the story linearly. Because the only way we can get the pure crystal is if we have all the shadow crystals. But the only way we can get the Twisted Sword is if we have the Thorn Ring and the pure crystal. If I remember that correctly. So, I think we will get the Thorn Ring normally in Chapter 6. And we will get the pure crystal in Chapter 6. And then by some point in the chapter, we will be able to merge the Thorn Ring and the pure crystal to make the Twisted Sword. And then that will be Chris's final item in the game. What Susie's might be, I don't know. It's probably still going to be the hammer and stuff, and whatever flower items we got. But yeah. So, that's all I basically have for right now as the theory. I think we will get the Twisted Sword. We will continue the route. Chris will have more agency, and there'll be weird soul shenanigans. But I definitely think the Twisted Sword is still important to the story, which is why I'm thinking, because it's more linear, I do think we'll get the Thorn Ring in Chapter 6, just as a standalone item without the weird route shenanigans. That could just be me, but yeah. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I've enjoyed this newsletter. That's all I have for today. thank you all so much. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want. But yeah, thank you. This newsletter was great. Ah!